So you're meeting me on the bed for some exercises. We're modifying this from the floor to the bed for people who have a lot of issues with shoulder or knee pain when they get on the floor. We're gonna try the same stuff, only on a softer environment. So holding hands with our feet is an amazing way to warm up all the muscles along the shin and affect our knee, even though we're working with our ankle. So we're very connected, right? We have carpals in our forearms. We all have heard of carpal tunnel syndrome. We also have carpals in our legs. So those carpals affect the strength and flexibility of the knee. We're going in with the opposite hand to the opposite leg, opposites here, okay? We're gonna take our hand and place it on the sole of the foot, not the top, the bottom. Sole of the foot to the palm of the hand. Pinky goes in to the pinky toe groove, ring finger on, so on and so on. So we're sliding those fingers into the grooves of the foot. And look, they match perfectly. The thumb is a little holder, and we're going to start easy. So if it's painful to get those fingers in and there's not a lot of flexibility, that's a good sign that you need this stretch, but we're going to start easy. So don't press them in and force them. That'll happen in time. And we're just going to start circling the foot, okay? So as I'm circling the foot, I'm thinking of, I'm really just going along with the foot. But as I get more into this rotation, now I'm lubricating my ankle with all the little synovial sacs inside my joint, because every joint in your body has lubrication sacs called synovial fluid. It's only released in movement. So if you don't move, you don't get lubricated. So we're literally fighting for the right to move here, okay? As we progress, we're gonna start flexing the toes backwards. So rather than just using my foot, holding my foot while I'm circling, I'm actually pressing backwards into those toes and really waking up the carpals and spreading them even more now, okay? Like I said, if this hurts, don't do it too extreme, but we're gonna head in this direction, okay? So as I'm doing this, I'm gonna reverse the rotation because I wanna go both directions. And I'm gonna find one direction is easier than the other. With this direction, I can hear popping and grinding in my ankle, waking up all that stuff and breaking up all that tissue that's doesn't need to be unmobile. We wanna create mobility in each joint, okay? So here we go. We are taking our fingers out nice and easy and letting it go and shaking it out, going to the other side. So press pause. You want to do about 5 to 10 circles each way in the beginning, nice and light, okay? Press pause. Point and flexes. We're going to lay on our back. We're going to extend one leg, and what we do with this leg is important. So we're not just letting it flail out there. We're flexing the foot of the lengthened leg, flexing it and pressing it down hard into the floor or bed. And we're really squeezing this thigh. So this is an active leg. We're using it as stability, so we're not going to rock around here. We're using our core, belly button to spine, pressing into the floor or bed, and I'm just simply going to rotate my ankle again, right? Same thing, same idea, only very different position. So here's the thing. Our goal is 40 circles in each direction. It sounds like a lot, and it will be a lot at the beginning. You're going to do as many as you can without letting the knee take over the motion. See the difference? I am moving at my knee, not at my ankle. So my shin wants to be perfectly still. So you really want to keep an eye on the shin. Be really, really critical of your movement here. We're looking for ankle circles, not knee circles. We're going to reverse the direction. Keep a number count on how many you can do before your shin starts to move. When your shin starts to move, you want to stop and make sure that that extended leg is active, okay? After circles either way, both ways, reverse it. We're going to do flexes and points. Flexes and points. Once again, we're not working the knee. We're working the ankle. And when I say point, you're really going to squeeze the arch of your foot. And when I say flex, you are really pulling those toes towards your face. So it's an active burning movement. It's not just kicking them out mindlessly, okay? We're really working the arch of the foot and we're working the muscles along the shin. They should be burning when you're done. Press pause and meet me on the other side. Tabletop. So just what it says, we're going into a tabletop. Just what I said, not it says. We're going into a tabletop. I'm pulling my belly in. Even though my shirt is hanging down, I want you to know I'm pulling it in. My wrists are underneath my shoulders. My knees are underneath my hip socket, which is about right here, okay? That's why I like these lines on my pants, because you can kind of see. I don't want to be out here, and I don't want to be in here. We're in alignment. We're stacking our joints vertically. Belly's in and shoulders are away from the ears. I'm not letting my spine curve, letting my belly drop. I'm pulling my belly in to create a flatter back. This might be a little harder on a squishy surface, but we're gonna try anyway, okay? You can see me looking at you. I want your neck to be here, an extension of your spine, so we're not cranking it up, creating unnecessary stress in the upper back, okay? We wanna create stress in the upper back, trust me, but not in that way. So opposite leg is gonna extend from my opposite hand, all right? So while I'm creating stability in here, I'm extending horizontally with my bed. I'm not overdoing it, but I'm an extension. I'm reaching really tall along with my hand, but I'm keeping my shoulder socket locked in. So I'm not here, I'm in and also extended. And my leg is extended as well. I'm making it as long as I can, pulling in, squeezing my glute, shoulders away from the ears, and then setting it in home base where it belongs. I'm gonna go to the other side, nice and slow. Fast is easy. Slow and steady wins the race. My thumb is up to ensure my rotator cuff is protected. My belly's in here, even though it might not look like it. I'm an extension, so I'm not letting my shoulders raise up. Squeezing and holding, setting it down. That is one set. So I want you to press pause and see how many sets you can do. We're not looking for as many as you can. We want stability and slowness. How many can you do before you feel like, okay, my form, I'm gonna lose my form here, okay? So we're gonna go from tabletop. We're all refreshed, right? Pulling the belly in, I'm curling my toes under, okay? And I'm stacking my joints again, taking a deep breath in, keeping my shoulders locked and loaded. On that exhale, so breathe in first. On the exhale, I'm gonna lift my knees up and I'm gonna push it back to down dog. So down dog is a real nice triangle with the bottom of the surface, your bed or your floor is the bottom of the triangle, and the top is your hips. And I'm really lifting up my tailbone, squeezing my thighs. If this is too hard to go straight with your knees, bend one, push back on the other. So for people with knee issues, this is gonna be really hard, but I want some mobility in those legs. So you might not be able to push back all the way, but you're moving, okay? You're moving here. You're gonna feel a little resistance in your wrists. We gotta strengthen them a little bit. Not a lot of pain, but a challenge. So take it to the knees when you feel like you need a break, and then push it up again and crank out some paddling knees to get some mobility and stretch into those knee sockets. And this will strengthen your core, not to mention your shoulders and wrist strength. Then we're gonna move on. You can press pause, kick that out a little bit, see how many you can do without pain, without exhaustion, keeping that form, keeping that triangle nice and erect at the top. We want a nice angle at the top, right? With the floor being the bed. Side plank. This is where it gets tricky on a really soft surface, but we can still maneuver around this. So we're gonna watch this elbow, that it's stacked. The elbow's stacked right under the wrist. I'm gonna bend my knees first couple of times around. We can get into a longer leg when we feel more sturdy. As I lift, I wanna make sure, am I still stacked here? And you might not see there's a lot of space here, but there's enough space to feel it. So I'm gonna do a little hip pump, lift, squeeze the glutes. It's a little lift. You can't see because there's a lot of plushness here. Then I'm gonna hold it up, lift this top leg in extension, do a little circle. So this is really hard to keep this lift going. I use my top arm for support. That's important. Pushing away on my shoulders, pulling my belly in, creating movement in the hip, not at the knee, okay? Whole hip movement, up and down a couple times, circle it around without wiggling at the hips. So my stability is the work here. Reverse the direction, give me at least 2, try to work up to 4 to 6 to 8, take it down, rest it, turn to your back, pull your knees in before going to the other side. Press pause, do the other side, letting me know how many you can do. We're going to create some inner thigh workout squeezes here. So whatever you need to do to find something plush enough to give yourself some squeezing space, you go for it, okay? So we're going to get into a elbow plank. So that's not going to create a lot of problems for the shoulders because it's a lot easier down here. But I am going to lift up into my toes, and I'm lifting a little higher because it's really squishy, and if I'm here, I'm going to get resistance from the pillow. So I'm squeezing in, and I'm really finding that place where it's burning. It's burning my core, and it's burning my glutes. I'm inner thigh squeezing, and I'm rocking and rolling on my feet. Won't be able to do a lot of these, but you're really going to feel that inner thigh burn. I want you to squeeze the inner thigh. Start with 2, start with 4, keep the hips lifted, squeeze those inner thighs, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Press pause, take a little break. You can see I'm winded. It might be harder on a bed. Okay, a really beautiful exercise to do on a bed. If you have wall space here, if you have a picture here or something like a window, it's not going to work. But you can see I scrunched too close to the wall, but I want a 90 degrees here. Maybe the angle is not perfect, but you want a 90. You want your shins parallel to the ceiling. You want your thighs straight up and down so that the hip socket right here is underneath that knee joint, okay? Now, the whole thing for this is keep your eyes on the ceiling. They're gonna wanna go to the wall or your thighs. When your eyes peel off of the ceiling, you're not doing it correctly. So our goal is eyes on the ceiling. Hands clasped, put behind the neck. I'm really pressing into the wall here. My feet are parallel, about 6 inches apart from inner ankle to inner ankle. I take a deep breath in, eyes on the ceiling, and I'm lifting my head and my neck off of the ground. In a perfect world, I'd be lifting my shoulder blades off the ground, but because it's so squishy and I have a lot of blankets, you can't really see. I'm not lifting very high here, but I'm still using my core. So when I drop down, I don't want to relax my tummy. I'm lifting and exhaling. Shh. Inhale on the drop, lift on the lift. Exhale on the lift. Inhale on the lower, exhale on the lift. I shouldn't have said drop. It's lowering with control and lifting. I want to go straight up, and I'm really using my hands to lift my head. I want the work to be done in my stomach, not in my neck. So here, our goal is 20 of these. Exhaling out, inhaling on the lower. Okay, so I want you to try that, rest, and then do another set of 20 or 25 if you can. Full of surprises here for you. Here's a little remix, okay? We did the bird dog, remember that? I'm not in perfect form, but I'm just reminding you the bird dog. We're gonna flip it over and do dead bug. Dead bug's awesome, but you need a nice long open space here. So we're getting in that same position we were, you know, hands on the bed, only I'm inverted. So I want my thumbs over my head, so I'm opening up my rotator cuff, and I don't want to be here. I want to be here. I'm pressing my shoulders into the bed, and I'm pressing them away from my face, my ears. So opposite hand to opposite leg. Right now I'm going right hand out, left leg out. Same idea, right? I'm keeping this knee nice and at a 90, and I'm extending as long as I can. With the floor, it's easier, bed, because it's softer. I don't feel a lot of resistance here, but still,
I'm gonna go other side. Open. Woo, this is hard. This is like mind body. Bring it in. I'm pressing my belly into the bed to squish my lower back into that bed. Shh. Breathing the whole time, right? I'm never holding my breath. Can I go all the way in extension, or is it too hard? Does my lower back break contact with the bed? Does it rise up too much? I'm going to keep doing this until I feel like my form is suffering, okay? So press pause. See how many you can do. One set is an extension of each side. That's one set. All right, see how many you can do. Make a little note of it so we can see your progress. On to the next move. Okay, so this might be a little intense, but it's going to be so good for the knee and for the psoas muscles in stretching wise. So I've got one leg on my bed. I've got the other leg, which you can't see, as far back as I can behind me, kind of in a lunge position, okay? If my knee doesn't bend, I can prop something up under it, but I want to try to take my chest towards that knee a little bit while I'm pushing back with this leg. Okay, if it doesn't go down, don't force it, but a little tiny bit, okay? You might only hold this for 10 seconds the first time because it's so intense and the knee might be here, but guess what? A little bit more, a little bit flatter, time in motion, okay? So flexing the foot will make it more intense, flattening that knee will make it more intense. You might not be able to do all those things, but we're working the chest down. We don't want to be stretching this way. We're pushing our shoulders down and lifting our heart, trying to create as flat of a back as we can. Press pause, do the other side. It doesn't have to be that long. So quads or hamstring stretch, we're going back to the wall. This time we want the tushy to be as close to the wall as possible. So I want my glutes to be as close to the wall as possible, and that might be a problem with a headboard, but you can see I'm way farther away than I should be, but I'm not going to take the time to scrunch up there. Closer the better, unless it's too tight for the hamstrings. So we'll start here. My ankles are about 6 to 8 inches apart. I'm just relaxing here. This is a great place to chill, listen to some music. Try not to scroll. I know that's hard, but you want to be with your body. You want to be present, and you want to feel what you're feeling here. Is your tailbone lifted? Are your hamstrings so tight that it's pulling up on your tailbone? Then you got to come back a little bit. Come away from the wall a little bit with your glutes. If you can take it a little bit closer with your sacrum or your tailbone or the top of your glutes being on the bed without them being lifted because the hamstrings are so tight, that's great. You can go forward some more, but stay here at least a minute if you're feeling a stretch. If you're not feeling a stretch, take the glutes closer, okay? So press pause, give this some time. We're gonna finish with the finale, quad stretching and standing in the door jamb with a squat position. This is where we get serious. So we're in a door jamb. I'm standing super wide with my legs, wider than shoulder width apart, even wider if you feel comfortable with that. Toes out just a little, so we're not at an extreme V with our feet, we're just slightly with a V. I'm holding on to the door jamb, and as I go down, I really want to watch my spine. Okay, I want my spine to stay in between the door jamb so that the vertical walls are helping me to be a reminder to stay upright with my upper body. And I'm holding on and I'm pulling those elbows in. Okay? I might not be able to go down all the way, but I'm using assistance to hold on to create a little bit of an easier time to lift up with my glutes. If I can't go down, all I can do is this. Who cares? I'm starting somewhere, right? 1 inch down, 1 inch up. Who cares? I am moving, and I will improve with movement. The only thing that doesn't improve is not moving and not trying it. So start here, 1 inch a day. Next day, maybe a little bit lower. I want you to try 8, maybe 6
for your first day. Eight's a lot. It's a lot to think about. But if you're moving very small, you should feel this in your quads a lot and in your core. And you're watching your back to keep that it's really, really straight. Someday we're gonna get so good, but we're doing it hands free. It will take some time, so press pause, get yourself positioned, and make sure you're upright with your body. So you're not doing just an upward movement. You're moving your lower body only, okay? And we're gonna finish with the quad stretch. Let's do that right now. So all you need is a wall here, okay? Now, if that knee is super tight, you might not be able to find your heel and pull it in. I get that. So you will use a chair. So you're gonna have a chair in back of you, and you're gonna put the foot on the chair. That might even be hard. So if you have a belt, loop up your ankle and help your ankle up to the chair. If that's still too high for you, we want it back here. We want the thigh vertical rather than here. Then a step stool, start low, okay? We're standing here, and then let's say, you're resting that on a stool, a chair, or someday we're gonna be holding it here. But what I want you to focus on, you can't see when I stand this way, I want our hips to be level. So when I'm stretching here, the temptation is to bring up this hip, right? Or, if I'm not holding it still, if it's on a chair, I'll be here. I don't want to be here. I want to be nice and level. Put my hands on my pelvis. I can feel the levelness here, okay? And not only that, hips level while I'm stretching, I'm squeezing that bun that the knee is lifted on. I'm squeezing that bun and rotating that tailbone forward. So our tailbone looks like a hook. We push it forward just a little bit, trying to keep that thigh vertical, but a little strong push that way. Woo, that will accentuate that stretch. You will feel it in your knee a little bit, so don't go so high at first. Start nice and small. Maybe even on the floor is a big stretch for you. 1 inch every day, 1 inch every week if you have to. But we want to get some mobility going in on those knees. Okay? I think that's it. So let me know if any of these were hard. I want to know which ones are hard, maybe which ones you couldn't do, which ones are too easy. But we will work on these things and create mobility with stretch and with strength. Okay, let me know how you do.